Hi, welcome to A Meeting with Strangers. I'm Luna. In this podcast, I want to talk about the human connection. I want to talk about each other and our lives and our cultures and where we live and go to school and work and the things that we love. I I want to see all the things that make us different, and maybe we can learn about all the things that make us the same. It's a big wide world out there. And if you're listening to this podcast, maybe like me, you're feeling a little lonely and isolated in your own little bubble of the world, and you think, I should do something about it. I could leave my house and do the terrifying task of talking to people, which, good for you if you can do that. I'm a hardcore introvert, and while I can talk to people, my nervous system does not always agree with me in that situation. So, hopefully, we can figure some things out together. My goal is to have people from all over the country, all over the world, join me in this podcast. We can all just talk, share a laugh, learn about our lives together, and just feel connected to each other. I appreciate you listening to me ramble on. This is just the intro episode, so I want to get some things out of the way. I want to talk about why I want to do this podcast. I've wanted to do a podcast for a long time, to be honest. And while I've had ideas, it's never been an opportunity that until recently I was able to grab a hold of. And there's never been an idea that I thought was truly unique enough for a podcast. There's a million podcasts in the world right now. They're all different in their own way. I love and appreciate them all in their own way, but I wanted something different. I wanted to feel closer to people because I don't. I feel lonely. And up until the last few months, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what to do with that loneliness, where to put it, if you will. And I met this amazing group of people who they've changed my life, if I'm going to be honest. And I look forward to speaking to them every single day. But we exist in a virtual bubble. I don't know them in the real world. I've never actually met them. I couldn't give them a hug, no matter how much I want to. And it breaks my heart. But does it supplement a human connection? I think so. Because my heart feels full and my soul feels happy when I'm around them. Even for a few stupid moments while making ridiculous jokes and sending stupid gifts about ridiculous things. Or learning exactly how much we have in common because the universe is insane in the way that it works. But I didn't think it was possible to feel human connection. I read a lot. I watch movies. I listen to music. Those kind of things don't happen in real life. You don't find your people. It's something for the big screen, not for little hobbit me. So, I realized after talking to these people how amazing they are and how different we are, how we believe different things, we celebrate different holidays, we are on different journeys completely, have different taste in music even, and yet we're all here for the same reason in this group. We all want to feel connected to each other. We all want recognition and love and understanding. And I can't blame them because I'm guilty of the same thing. I joined for the same reasons. I was tired of feeling so alone in a world that I didn't feel like understood me even a little bit. Granted, I'm a high-class weirdo, but we all deserve happiness somehow. So let's talk about this. Let's get to the nitty-gritty details of it all, okay? All right? The truth is, loneliness and isolation is an epidemic that has negative health effects. Heart disease, dementia, stroke, early death is bad, okay? The Surgeon General even released a report in 2003 about it. It was called Our Epidemic of Loneliness and Isolation. Yikes, right? Surgeon General, that says a lot. It really does. And I know, the technology has been blamed for a very long time as a cause for our self-isolation. It was made worse by the pandemic and having to quarantine, and now we have convenience. A button away. We can stream any movie, we can order food, you name it. I mean, the world is at our fingertips and we don't have to leave the house. So, of course, we're going to feel a little isolated and alone. And also, the world is a scary, scary place. I'll be the first to admit that even though things about it excite me, it also terrifies me greatly. So, in their report, they said that people who use social media for more than 2 hours a day have about double the odds of reporting an increased sense of isolation compared to people who use it for less than 30 minutes a day. Okay, I can see that. I can definitely see that. I recently have just completely cut back on my social media intake, with the exception of involving myself in this group that I am in. I barely use anything else. And I do feel a little bit better because I feel like we compare ourselves to everything that we see, especially on some of them where it's like people put on this mask to show the perfect version of what their lives are, but in reality, their life is nothing like that. Behind the camera, who knows what kind of mess there is. And I'm sure some people do have their lives together and are perfect and brilliant, but fact of the matter is that it's not always like that. And it puts this idea in our head that our lives have to be that sort of perfect, and they don't. Messy is perfect. There is perfection in imperfection. And it feels a little good to be away from it. I will pop on there occasionally because, I'm trying to put out more content and trying to be more artsy, I guess, but I'm definitely not doom scrolling as much as I used to, which is really good. So I just want you to know that with this podcast, I'm not saying I'm an introvert, okay, for the most part. I can be extroverted around the right people. If I like you, I'm definitely more extroverted and open, but for the most part, I am an introvert. I like being home. I'm comfortable here with my books and my tea and my paint. And I'm not saying you need to go out and change everything about yourself and become some crazy outgoing person that's not who you are. I mean, if that's something you're into, then go for it. But it's personally not me. I can't get comfortable in a crowd full of people. I don't even like crowds at the grocery store half the time. But what I'm saying is that I understand why things are the way they are. I understand why people are lonely. Because I am too. It's more common than we realize, and even though we have this vast web of knowledge, we're still disconnected and divided, and it could be such a tool for us, for support and growth, and it's mostly just cat memes and GIFs, which is fine. We all need a laugh, right? Totally understandable. So, I did a little research. I thought we could do an experiment, you and I. It's our first episode together, so I'll try and take it easy on you. So, I have read that a 1-second connection can make all the difference. Not only to you, but to the person that you're connecting with. So, according to Psychology Today, one of the easiest and most impactful ways to promote connection is by making eye contact and smiling. The simple act releases potent chemicals in the brain, and because smiling is contagious, the receiver of your smile also gets a quick burst. So, smiling helps you cope with stress and is associated with a strong immune system, and it might help you live longer. So, here's our experiment. What if we just smiled just a little bit right when we woke up, got out of bed, do our business in the bathroom, look yourself in the mirror, smile. And not like a cheesy Joker grin, okay? Like an actual smile, like you're happy to see yourself. And then maybe, after you do that, you can be brave enough, a stranger or your neighbor or a family member, anybody really, maybe just try and look them in the eyes and genuinely smile. I'll be brave if you'll be brave. I know how hard it is. I get it. But maybe it could get us a bit of that love hormone, a little boost of happiness. I'm interested in the thought of a 1-second connection. My heart yearns for more than 1 second, but let's start small, right? What else can we do? It just comes down to reaching out and trying to be there for each other. Especially if you're someone who doesn't have anyone you can lean on, then I hope the internet can maybe be a tool for you to find other people. But maybe you have people and you're not sure how to proceed, or you're not sure how to talk to them. I get that. I have a hard time with it too. So, here's some of the other things you can do if you want to feel a little bit more connected. And I promise, not every episode is going to be this science and psychology forward, but it's the first episode. And I just kind of wanted to give everybody an idea that you're not alone, and maybe give you a few things you can try, things that work, things that'll help, because you never know when you might need them. What are some of the things that we can do? How can we feel connected? Because, we want to be happy. We want to feel soulful connections. I am so tired of paddling the surface in conversations. You know what I mean? Hi, how are you? Look at the weather. Oh man, it snowed. I'm tired of these conversations. I mean, I get it. Politeness, sure, yes, absolutely. But I want more, so much more. I want deep conversations. I want depth. Do you look at the moon and feel incredibly sad? When was the last time you cried? Do you have a good relationship with your parents? I mean, it's not exactly things that you can just ask people, but I want the connection. I want the depth. So, let's see. Heart to hearts, okay? Profound moments of connection when you open up to someone and they accept and care in return, and it's meaningful and it creates emotional intimacy between you. Things you don't share with just anyone. Doesn't that sound lovely? Heart to heart. It's like a hug with words. Let's see. You can also share laughter. Humor brings on a sense of connection. I might try and be funny eventually. Please bear with me when I make terrible jokes. It's for my mortification more than your benefit. Psychologists call it affiliate humor, when we joke with friendly intentions. The feeling of connection over humor and silliness is when everyone involved has a chance to be sincerely amused. So, laughter. Laughing together. Also, supporting each other. Because why would that not make you feel connected? I support you. You support me. I save this space for you to feel loved and supported. I'm here if you need me. I'm open if you want to vent. It's a great thing. I get it. This one I have a hard time with. Expressing and receiving gratitude. Okay, I've tried. Listen. I've tried. I've tried having a gratitude journal. I'm not a journal person. I've tried. It's very difficult for me, but I like the idea, and I am trying to get better about it, because I do know that expressing gratitude is very important to understand that the situation is not always as bleak as it seems. But sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's very hard to do. And it's a good way to just kind of support yourself, to say, I'm grateful for these things, So, that's something I personally will have to work on. Giving and receiving affection is another one, but it's hard to do if you are isolated and alone feeling. So maybe to yourself. I mean, affection is in many forms. There's verbal or touch or... everybody's got a preference. That's why there's a million different love languages now. There are ways of giving and receiving affection, but even something as simple as just giving yourself an embrace or just being there for yourself, I think is good too. Because you're not alone, even if you are alone. You always have yourself, as hard as that is. And as cliche as that sounded, please forgive me. Keep in mind that these things are not for everyone. It's kind of like a buffet. Pick and choose what works best for you. Sharing positive emotions. It's called positive resonance. When two people feel and express joyful emotions together. Oh, that's kind of cute. Studies show that when savoring positive emotions together, our physical gestures and biological rhythms sync as they would in a shared physical movement. Oh, well, that's kind of nice. That's a really good one, actually. I like that a lot. Sharing positive emotions. Might be something worth trying as well. Finding common ground, obviously, a great way to connect with people because, well, you never know what we have in common until you start talking to people. Celebrating each other's good fortune. Ooh. Psychologists call this capitalization, which may come in the form of a high five, congratulations, or a, oh, I'm so glad to hear that. It helps us build trust as we show each other that we care about what happens in each other's lives. And, like I said, if you don't have anybody that you can do these things with, please celebrate yourself. And I know what you're thinking. Are you sure, Luna? Me? You don't even know me. Yeah, okay. You do. Please trust me. You deserve it. You deserve all the good things. I promise. There is no right way to connect, okay? There's no guidebook on how to be a human. It's not black and white. You pick and choose what works for you. I can't tell you how to connect. I can't tell you how to feel more joy and feel less alone because I don't know either. But maybe in each podcast we can maybe meet some people together and talk about our lives, and I don't know. Maybe we'll understand that we're less alone than we think. Maybe it just takes a meeting with strangers. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you had a good time listening in. If you like what you heard here, don't forget to check out our Discord, a community for strangers, in the description below. Your support means a lot. Until next time, take care and don't be a stranger.